Welcome to Martini Time. I don't always do Martini Time now. I only do Martini Time when I have an urge to do it, an excitement, and it's not about the martini. So the topic of this talk is Facebook is my guru. And I've been writing all day. The idea or the thread of my thought during the day on Facebook has been the peculiar Facebook, I can't think of a word, but the likes and dislike, you know, the feeling we have about wanting to be liked, particularly if we're a writer. We like to write, you know, and we feel like we have something to say. We want to have a little respect, and we like those likes. Yet there's something that, well, I shouldn't, you know, it's a little bit like the sin of pride, you know. Well, that seems to be a little egotistical here to want likes, you know. So what is that all about? And I've been writing about that today. And one thing I like about Facebook is that it is a for the writer who enjoys the writing. There's a relationship or a comment or a response. So you're not just the reason I stopped writing on a blog when I first started writing in 2005. I got a blog, and I kind of wrote on it in a journalistic style of my opinions for the day, my observations for the day, and it could be on anything. It could be interior or exterior, but every day I wrote. Every day, that was my discipline. Whether I had something to say or not, I wrote. But nobody was there. It was kind of like the Maytag repairman. Nobody answered, but I wrote. And then when Facebook came along, I discovered that people responded, so I just stopped using the blog. And what I do with my blog now is that when I write on Facebook, and like today, I got an ongoing thread about likes and dislikes, and one of my friends said I didn't, you know, he was really disgusted with his liking being liked. You know, getting, oh, how many likes did I get on this one? Oh boy, I didn't get any likes on that, bummer. You know, so that kind of like that feeling, it's very subtle. So we were writing about that, and I noticed that when there's a question, when there's a curiosity, that creates the conditions where creative writing happens. So it's the conditions of inquiry or curiosity that happens on Facebook. When somebody has a question or makes a statement about themselves or an observation that is open, that is open to inquiry and digging into it, to like pulling the cotton ball apart, you know. So it's not just like a brick. You just throw a brick of an opinion out there, and if you disagree, well, you idiot. You know, there's no dialogue there. You know, everything stops. You just got a brick wall. You got a Trump wall. You know, I got my opinion, and you're on the other side, but you're beyond the pale, so shut up. You know, that kind of that's egotistical. But the dialogue that is open to different views can become very creative. So the reason I say Facebook is my guru is because over the years, it's been like peeling back the layers of an onion. You know, so our sense of self is like an onion, and it's got layers, you know. So you notice where there's a little pain, or there's a little like with the like thing. Oh, how many likes can I collect on this statement, you see? And you notice that. And there's a little, well, I ought to stop writing on Facebook. It's all ego, you know. And then on the other hand, there's an urge to write. So there's a conflict there. oh, it's all ego, it's all vanity, 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 oh, pooh, I give it all up. But then there's an urge, to, what is this urge? So this conflict happens, you see, that the mindful mind notices. So we want to work that out. We want to work through that contradiction. The contradiction creates the urge to peel back another layer of the onion. And as you notice, if you ever peel an onion, there's tears involved, right? Well, the tears are the tears of our resistance to letting go of our contradictions. So, but we do, and we let go of that, and lo and behold, there's another layer, and another tear, and another mindful insight into contradictions in my nature. So it's all about discovering the contradictions in your lower nature. And believe me, I've had many of them. In fact, when I first started yoga in 1970, and I couldn't get to be, except it was a society to create yoga teachers, and I wanted to be a yoga teacher, but on a really high level. I don't want to just teach exercises. I wanted to be a guru. You see, I wanted to be a spiritual teacher, you see. And so, but the teacher always said, no, not yet. You're not ready, Charlie, for the tuna factory. So, and then my teacher said, I said, what, he said, the problem with you have inconsistencies in your lower nature. Inconsistencies in your lower nature. Well, my whole path has been peeling back the onion to resolve the contradictions of the inconsistencies in my lower nature. And I've discovered that we all have inconsistencies in our lower nature. It wasn't just me. And anytime we have a contradiction, there's a rub. And that rub is an inconsistency. Now the soul, or awareness, is activated or arises when there's a rub. The soul, or awareness, or in Zen it's called prajna, arises to heal the rub, to heal the contradiction through understanding. Understanding expands our consciousness to include the contradictions or the contradictory opposites, you see. I see, that's Satori. So Satori happens on many layers. It's not always just the big one, you see. It's peeling back the onion, and there's always a tear when we resist the letting go. There's a little mini death, you see, when we see where we've been holding contradictions like and dislike. The contradiction in like and dislike is that I like myself and I don't like myself. I want to get likes, I don't want to get likes. Now you can't, that's a contradiction. You can't want to get likes and not want to get likes both simultaneously at the same time. So we solve the contradiction superficially when we choose, like, okay, I just want to be hungry for likes. Or we choose, okay, I don't want likes, so I'm getting off of Facebook. Or I just slap myself, beat up on myself whenever I find myself taking pleasure in getting likes. That's a contradiction. You can't do both of them at the same time, so you do one or the other. And when you do one or the other, you have to suppress, repress, or degrade or reduce the value of the other. Because when they both have equal value, then you're in a dilemma. You can't choose one or the other if they both have equal value. So we get out of in this contradiction of not being able to choose between two equal values, you see, creates an oscillation in the mind. Wah, 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 wah. Can't choose that, but the other one comes back. Choose that, this one comes back. Wow, that's like sticking a microphone up in the amplifier. Wow, 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 wow. You see, that is terror. It'll go into a panic attack or suicide. So anyway, the soul or awareness, I equate these two words together because awareness This is a Buddhist term, but the soul is a Christian term. So we kind of like need to put them together. So the soul is a dynamic awakening of unity. The dynamic activation that is aroused by a contradiction that comes like a first responder to make the mind evolve into a greater understanding or greater whole that contains the previous contradiction. And when you arrive at the whole, you look back at the contradiction that triggered the soul into action, and you see that it was a fiction, a fantasy. It doesn't exist. It's like the butterfly looks back and can't find the cocoon. But the cocoon can't imagine a butterfly, but the butterfly looks back and says, oh, there was a cocoon, but it was a fiction. It didn't exist. Because the cocoon is now absorbed into the butterfly, and the butterfly is a higher order than the cocoon, or the worm, you see. So anyway, it's kind of like that. So that's why I say Facebook was my guru, because over the years, in my writing on Facebook, it has revealed my soul to myself. As I encounter the contradictions that I discover in my personal writing and encountering or relationship with other opinions and perspectives, you see. So the soul rises to find a unity between my view and the other view, rather than saying, well, you're crap and I'm good. My opinion is right and you're wrong, you see. That's the soul. There's no soul in that, because you're not rising to find a higher unity, that understanding that includes both views. So both views are right. So the truth of Facebook is that everybody's view is right. Isn't that interesting? And we think just the opposite. Only my view is right and everyone else is wrong. Isn't that funny? But the truth is, everybody's opinion has equal value. But what good is that if you just leave it at that? It's no good. That's not a solution. That's not an answer to say, well, everybody has their own opinion, so that's the end of truth. Why bother? You see? Well, why bother is no answer. The soul can't tolerate that, because the soul wants to be inclusive. The soul power is inclusive power, which means it's always driving to include the opposites it's encountered. This is what Jesus was talking about when he said, love your enemy. Love the opposite opinion. Not by saying, oh, your opinion is so wonderful and my opinion is wonderful and you have your right to your opinion and I have my right to my opinion. So that's it. That's not it. What this is a commandment or an invitation to awaken the soul or awareness and arrive at a higher understanding that you didn't know before. That arrive at a higher understanding that you are giving birth to. So we give birth to understanding. You see, we don't create it out of what we already know. Understanding is what is a creation of something that we don't know. And that's Satori. That's, I see something I never saw before. And it's not that I'm wrong or you're wrong. It's a higher understanding that includes both views. So you're always moving the relationship, the dialogue with truth, forward, like Hegel's dialectic. I first discovered that in philosophy when I was in college in the 60s. The dialectic is the logic of evolution. You have a thesis, then you have an antithesis, so you've got a yin-yang. And then the tension between the ones, rubbing together, creates this energy that goes up and creates a synthesis, which is a higher, which is a bigger whole that includes the two, like mothers and fathers create a baby. So you got the opposites of male and female, they rub together and it creates a new being that never existed before. That's the synthesis of the thesis and antithesis of the yin-yang. And this is the logic of progress. Nothing is static. Everything is changing and evolving dynamically. Everything is creating new worlds, new understanding. It's not a ping pong game of the same, you see. The two ping pong games get to, in life, the two sides of the ping pong table, in their conflict, create a new game or a new whole, you see. And this is what I found on Facebook for myself. And this is what gives me the gift of energy and passion when I come to write or to speak in FaceTime Live, Facebook Live, you see, because this is an extension of my writing. So if I don't have any energy or passion or excitement in what I want to share, I don't do it. I don't have to do it. So today, I had a lot of energy and passion and excitement about sharing this understanding with you. So it's not an opinion, although you may call it opinion. It's an understanding I've arrived at. You see, there's a difference between that and an opinion. Now, opinion is kind of like a mini belief. You see, and an opinion is something we fix ourselves with. So when we have an opinion, this is this way of fixing ourselves so that we don't have to yield. We don't have to peel the onion back and get the tear, you see. But in the process of willingly peeling back the onion, willingly dying to understand, the tear becomes joy. And you notice that a tear is a tear. If you look at a tear, you can't tell if it's from sorrow or joy. The tear is a tear, a dewdrop that reflects the cosmos, you see. So in the tear of peeling back the onion, you also have the tear of the heart, of the soul, awakening. Awakening, you see. Awakening. So anyway, thank you for dropping in, and I'll see you on Facebook.